As workers in Cameroon joined the international community to celebrate Labour Day, though void of the usual march past parade as per the April 27, 2022 ministerial decision, business premises and all commercial activities were completely grounded in Bamenda, northwest region of Cameroon. Streets were deserted, shops and business sites closed, with residents indoor for fear of the unknown as their respected ghost town calls by separatist fighters. From Gang Junction through Sonak Street to City Chemist and the Bamenda Commercial Avenue Grandstand, the town was a shadow of its real self. Streets were completely deserted but littered with dead. The situation in Bamenda is deplorable. Commemorated this year under the theme World of Work, Fight Against COVID-19, Protection of Jobs and Productivity, the 136th Labour Day was celebrated in Cameroon without a parade of workers for the third consecutive year as a result of COVID-19. Critics, however, say authorities have been favoring the response strategy put in place by the government. Note here that on the occasion of the Youth Day on February 11 and International Women's Day on March 8, 2022, there was a parade.
The Muslim faithfuls were already present with their praying mats at the Boya Town Green Stadium for prayers, a way to end their fast after a month of fasting. Imam Al-Hajj Abubakar Muhammad is the Imam of the Boya Mosque. During his preaching, he noted that Muslim faithfuls should be determined to speak and practice truthfulness in all their dealings, while wearing the armor of integrity and dignity which stands against corruption. Saki Mokhtar Sule is the chief of the Boya Muslim community. He says that fasting is one of the key pillars of Islam and fasting goes with prayers. The Muslims, after the preaching and prayers, are going back home with a message to practice. The feast, marking the end of fasting, is a day of celebration for Muslims all over the world. The fasting is believed to end only when the full moon is seen.
Muslim faithful in Bamenda, May 2nd, 2022 celebrated the Fête the Eid, Ramadan, which comes after a month of fasting that concludes with the appearance of the moon. In Bamenda at the prayer ground Old Town, the Imam of the Bamenda Center Mosque, Imam Musa Shuaibu, exhorted the Muslim faithful to pray for justice, security, prosperity and peace in the two Anglophone regions and the world.
Allah accepts our worship, which we've done for 9 months, for 29 days, and that all prayers that we've done, Allah accepts it, and that especially the suffering people of Southern Cameroon will find solace in the bosom, and that was particularly my own dedication of prayer, to ensure that our people who are languishing in jail, those that are in prison camps, those that are displaced, those that are dying in the course of the day, can find solace, and God will bring permanent justice to our people in general.
The Secretary General at the Northwest Governor's Office, Vian Mekala, who joined the Muslim faithful at the prayer ground, said,
"We are putting it on prayer, so we hope everything is going to change."
Given the socio-political crisis in the region has rendered many to IDPs, orphans, widows in their community, to some Muslim faithful, Allah accepts their worship after 29 days of fasting.
First of all, to forgiveness first, then we are praying for justice and for peace. Because without justice, peace will not grow. Then we need justice, then peace comes to grow.
It's going in line with the declaration of the head of state, who is asking all Cameroonians goodwill to work for peace, to choose peace, and the message is more important in our region. And we know we are facing that this crisis. We thank the Imam for the message of peace.
Given act of charity is what is most expected of a Muslim, Sadiki Hamza Usman of Old Town, Bamenda, indicates regular contributions are made by Muslims in Bamenda that has mounted to over 250 million to assist IDPs, orphans and widows in their community. The Muslim community in Bamenda has invited conflicting parties in the ongoing socio-political crisis to dialogue insisting only through peace can they attain lasting peace in the two Anglophone regions, the country and the world.
The Ramadan festival was celebrated with solemnity in the capital of the known division, West Region of Cameroon, and throughout the national territory on Monday, 2nd of May, 2022. One of the highlights of this celebration was at the esplanade of the Central Mosque of Njinka in Fumban. It was under the leadership of the principal Imam El Hajj Inchintu Inusa Ngosu. The religion and spiritual guide advocated love with a high point of forgiveness, serenity, and harmony. The great prayer brought together Muslim faithfuls in all strata. The closing feast of this Ramadan, however, highlighted divine principles and respect for the precepts of the Holy Quran, with love in convergence to the name of the most merciful God, and the ultimate goal being the search of unity, compassion, combining adoration with action.
Adieu. Pour que la paix et la prospérité règnent.
We look up to God for peace and security. We are not going backward, but we are advancing. We will therefore give a special prayer to eliminate the wicked amongst us. All I would like is to call on the known population, the population of the West region, all the other regions, and the world at large, that according to the national plan, we will always communicate our positions when necessary, and we will do that in respect to the morals which makes up our political ideology.
Morales qui fondent notre idéologie politique.
It should be noted that the mayor of the Fumban Council, Patricia Ndamjoya, was invited, and the Njinka Cultural Space served as the setting for the festivities in the presence of the senior divisional officer for the known division.
The feast of the Ramadan has been celebrated, but has not only been characterized with wining and dining, as it has served as an avenue for the transmission of messages centered around peace, stability, and living together. In Kribi, the various imams have seized the opportunity in calling on Muslim faithfuls to live the Ramadan lifestyle throughout. One of such is Imam Sheikh Yahya.
The month of Ramadan is in Arabic word, Rama, the first four letter, which is Ramad, the first five letter. It means burning in English term, in Arabic term, burning. Burning means fast that burns our sin. So if you are a sinner, the Rama means to burn away our sins. So Allah give us that opportunity to be able to fast these 29 days in order to do what? To burn all our various sins, whether association, fornication, drinking of alcohol, womanization, etc., etc., etc. So the period, the month of Ramadan is solely given for us to do a total rebate for all Muslim community.
Elsewhere, the same message of peace and living together has been emphasized amidst the misunderstandings between certain members of the Bamun community and the Mabis, as the Muslim community shows interest of wanting to live in peace with the others.
After the sighting of the new moon, celebrations of the Eid al-Fitr festival, marking the end of the fasting month of Ramadan, begins with a special early morning prayer in mosque and open-air spaces. Here in the economic capital Douala, some Muslim faithfuls gathered at Parkou Vita in Bonamusa di Douala 5 municipality for morning prayers this Monday, May 2, then at the Bonamusa di Mosque for the 12 noon prayers before moving on for feast and festivities, and everything went on smoothly.
I'm very happy that we have gone through the month of Ramadan. It all started well and all it has ended well. So today we had the prayer at Parkou Vita, which was led by the Central Imam, Iya Muhammad. After the prayer, we went for celebration. Everybody is prepared and everything is going well. Now we are just from the afternoon prayers at the Mosque Bonamusadi.
Today is our great Eid Fitr day, and which we were just from the prayer site, which was at the side of Parkou Vita this morning at about 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. So right now we are just from the Zuhr prayer of 1 o'clock.
It is a time of unity and is celebrated by friends and family coming up together for food and drinks, dressing up in new clothes and above all, sharing gifts amongst each other. Ramadan marks the time when the Quran, the Muslim holy book, was revealed to Prophet Muhammad.
This was the month that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down the Quran, the guide to humanity. If you follow the Quran, the laws of the Quran, you will live well and you will have the hereafter, which that's all we are looking for. So we are very happy that everything went well.
But what is the way forward for Muslim faithfuls after the month of Ramadan?
After this month of Ramadan, it doesn't mean that you have to go back to your vices, to your sins. So after the month of Ramadan, we can assume that you have been born again, and you have to make sure that you ameliorate your habit, your behavior in the society, because being a Muslim is not just praying the 5 daily prayers, it's also to have an exemplary, a very exemplary behavior in the society.
This festivity equally serves as a reminder for Muslims to be grateful for what they have.
Muslim faithful in Fundong subdivision, Boyo division of the Northwest went up the mountain May 2nd, 2022 to mark the end of 30 days fasting period. Celebrations of the feast of Ramadan in Fundong, the Imam of Fundong Center Mosque, Sali Bello, drew his inspiration from the Quran, encouraged all Muslim faithfuls after Ramadan not to go back to their old deeds, but should continue doing all the good things they were doing during fasting. Boyo SDO Tinia Fidel, who joined the Muslim faithful to worship with them, equally called on all Muslims to remain prayerful. Pray for Boyo and Cameroon in particular, for prayers is the only way to salvation and one of the tools that will bring back lasting peace in Boyo division.
Continue to be faithful, to continue to pray, and to continue to be peace lovers, peace builders, and peacekeepers, so that Boyo division, the country, the fatherland should continue to be in peace, and even the whole world, since we need peace to develop all other activities.
Fundong First Deputy Mayor Cha Enes, who equally joined Boyo SDO to worship with the Muslim community in the municipality, encouraged the faithfuls to remain steadfast and be law-abiding, while count on their usual collaboration to bring back lasting peace in Fundong and Boyo division.
Even after this period, because we so much need the peace, and I also continue to call on them to collaborate as part of the population, so that we can be able to obtain the peace that we deserve.
The Fundong Council equally supported the Muslim community with some food items to aid their celebration.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Enverrez notre maître Mohammed.
Muslim faithfuls in the nation's political capital have celebrated the feast of the Ramadan today, which marks the end of the holy month in the Muslim calendar. Celebrated with glamour as they commemorate the feast of the Ramadan, Muslims stretch a hand of charity to those in their neighborhood. In the Yaoundé Center Mosque, these faithfuls call on Allah to have mercy on Cameroon for peace to reign in its entirety. Worth noting, according to religious beliefs, the holy book of the Muslim came down from Allah during this time, and so the entire creation praised him. The Prophet Muhammad then declared this day to be a time of celebration, a time to celebrate the brotherhood of man. Later, Muslims began fasting in preparation of this day, as the end of this month-long fasting is then marked by Ramadan. Cameroonian pressmen and women joined their counterpart worldwide today to commemorate World Press Freedom Day. This 29th edition is celebrated under the theme Journalism under Digital Siege. This year's theme is intended to highlight the multiple ways in which surveillance and digital-mediated attacks endanger journalists and journalism, according to the United States information on this event. Worth noting, the latest United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO World Trends Report incites discussion on threats that silence trends in the safety of journalists, shows that surveillance and hacking are compromising journalists worldwide and Cameroon inclusive, and can expose information gathered surveillance by journalists, including from whistleblowers, and violates the principle of source protection, which is universally considered a prerequisite for freedom of the media and is enshrined in the UN resolution. Surveillance may also harm the safety of journalists by disclosing sensitive private information which could be used for arbitrary judicial harassment or attack. Aside these surveillance challenges encountered by the pressmen and women in Cameroon especially, there are other challenges.
The press in Cameroon, the private press in Cameroon is very, very sick. We have so many difficulties that if we start enumerating them here today, we may not end up finishing them. But the first difficulty we understand that private media in Cameroon faces is that of access to information, which is limited only to the public media.
However, there is a way out. The observance of World Press Freedom Day also reminds government of the need to respect their commitment to press freedom, according to the United Nations. This day further serves as an opportunity to celebrate the fundamental principles of press freedom, assess the state of press freedom around the world, and pay tribute to journalists who have lost their lives in the line of duty. Happy Press Freedom Day to all pressmen and women in Cameroon and worldwide.
Pressmen and women in the Northwest region joined their peers nationwide and internationally May 3, 2022 to commemorate World Press Freedom Day. In Bamenda with multiple celebrations, journalists in the region regret inadequate access to information is a major challenge to them in exercising their job.
That journalists in the Northwest go through is access to information. There is no gainsaying that without information, a journalist is completely useless. Our call is information. Our work is on information. But now, how many journalists can freely move to Benin and do an interview and come back like they used to do in the past? How many journalists can go to Baú? How many journalists can go to Akko? How many journalists can cover all the 34 subdivisions we used to cover in the Northwest?
With the ongoing socio-political crisis, that has made difficulties for journalists to access other areas for information on account of the security challenge. The Northwest chapter of the Cameroon Association of English-Speaking Journalists, Camasej, chapter president Tebong Elvis said journalists in the region had been resilient since the crisis erupted in 2016. With the insurgent of city journalism, he called on the Northwest journalists to stay professional.
The insurgency of citizen journalism, which means that we have to try as much as possible to strike the balance, to be able to be professional. So I call on all journalists in the Northwest region to stay professional, to respect the ethics and deontology of practice. That is my call to them.
Camasej Northwest celebrated World Press Freedom Day 2022 alongside the launch of an emergency association fund. Jato Richard, a colossus in journalism, enlightened the Northwest chapter of Camasej. The fund is intended to assist members with contempt to legal matters and health issues while executing their job. Over at Maitri Nkwen, the Cameroon Journalist Trade Union Northwest chapter led by its chapter president Comrade Nji Ignatius paid a visit to the Northwest Cooperative Association NWCA to better understand the institution as the largest producer of coffee in the region.
untimely, state that the Northwest cannot be written off. Meaning, we still have things happening in the region. But meaning the public is not happy. So we choose this place to come, first of all, to sell what we have because we identify with NWCA.
Acknowledging the role partners play on the theme Journalism under Digital Search, with which fit to the current practice of journalism, the World Press Freedom Day 2022 with CJTU was graced with 3 presentations: the media and violence extremism, media ethics and journalism, and media law and violence extremism.
Field drainages, field trash cans, heaps of dirt are what constitute the new face of most towns in Cameroon. The 2 main cities of Yaoundé and Douala are the most affected. Garbage and poor waste disposal have taken roots in our daily lives. For the longest time, the Public Waste Disposal Company has been blamed for the untidy nature of the country, but populations have proven responsible as well.
D'abord, l'incivisme des populations de Koto. Parce que moi qui vis le coin, j'ai beaucoup de fois bagarré ici parce que même quand il y avait encore le bac, quelqu'un qui vient avec sa saleté, tu lui demandes.
First of all, the carelessness of the population, because as an inhabitant of this place, I have witnessed a lot of cases. Some come with dirt, prefer to throw it on the ground instead of using the trash can. When Isakam comes by, they don't come with their garbages, they prefer to drop it on the road. Like the woman who dropped her bag on the other side of the road. They say it is Isakam's job to pick the dirt from the roadside. They are nothing but careless.
C'est de leur ressort de faire ce service. Donc les gens, ils ne voient pas quelle qualification on peut donner à ces populations-là, en dehors du titre de l'incivisme-là.
Besides the lack of collaboration from citizens, the town have been plagued with neglect, which has given room to the spread of disease like cholera.
Ce n'est pas bien, mais je ne sais pas comment c'est que la communauté, les autorités de la ville attendent pour trouver une bonne solution à cela.
This is not good. We should find a solution to this. For example, look at the roadside. There are dirts everywhere. The drainage is full. The trash cans are not available. I suggest they come constantly, as they did in the month of January and February.
Rien d'autre que celle de leur proposer de passer constamment, comme ils ont fait dans le mois de janvier et février.
Nevertheless, measures have been taken by authorities in charge, notably the Ministry of Urban Development, to give the towns of the country a new facelift.
For some time now, the hygiene and sanitation workers Hisakam in Cameroon have been threatening to strike over poor working conditions, inadequate working equipment, and the non-payment of their salaries for some months. This has thus caused some towns around the country to be littered. It is on this note that the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Celestine Kechakotes, in a communique is disturbed by the heaps of garbage piled up for days on the streets in Yaoundé and other cities in Cameroon, as she invites the chief executive officers of Hisakam to take all necessary measures without delay for the return of normal, in order to respect the commitments made and to support the state of Cameroon in achieving the objectives aimed at improving the living environment of the population. She also added that these mounds of waste, which are carried by rainwater, degrade pavements, block gutters, and pollute rivers, which further promote the development of waterborne diseases such as cholera. Shortly after the release of the communique, the minister held a meeting relating to the evaluation of the cleaning services provided by the company Hisakam in the presence of his managers and the resident representative of the World Health Organization. The meeting was aimed at contributing to the sustainable improvement of garbage collection system to deal with the problem caused by the regular interruption of cleaning services in the country. The minister used the opportunity to call on the population to be responsible and invite mayors to look for solutions through the mobilization of all actors.
councillors of the Bamenda 2 Council in a council session May 4th, 2022 to evaluate the administrative, management and stores account for 2021 of the council, adopt the Bamenda 2 Council this 2022 will operate with over 1.6 billion FCFA, an increase from the budget of 2021. With education, water, health, light, hospital as council priority, Mayor Chenny Peter, mayor of the Bamenda 2 Council, called on the councillors to be steadfast and focused.
They actually know the left and right so far as the council is concerned, so I ask them to be very focused, to stay fast. If you want to save the state, you save the state. You cannot be with the state and then you are against the state. We are all here in the situation that we must work collectively to make sure we build our municipality, build our region, we fight for peace to return normalcy in the region.
Outline council achievements with its quarter head said had been able to carry out massive projects, provide equipments to hospitals, construct some, assist the helpless and equally others.
With the quarter heads, we were able to carry on massive projects. We had to construct hospitals, medical equipment, boreholes, assistance to schools, road maintenance, electricity, solar light was given. Actually the project that many should list.
Mezam SDO Simomo Emil during the council session called on the councillors to set up security units within them, help bring back normalcy given Bamenda is now receiving some calm, though with more still work to be done. The divisional officer for Bamenda 3 subdivision has called on councillors of the Bamenda 3 municipality to step up security within the municipality. He made the statement during the administrative and management account session for 2021 of the Bamenda 3 Council, which stands at 716 million FCFA.
We just adopted our administrative account to the tune of 716 million francs, which we are proud and we are happy that we work and went this far, mindful of the fact that we are in a crisis situation, but at least we have been able to achieve something. Within the year 2021, we have succeeded in tarring the road from Mankamenda right to Taken Quarter that decongesteth my 4 junction. You saw for yourself before coming. We have equally carried out some pavements at PM and Quen. If you pass that PM and Quen.
Bamenda 3 Council, with the construction of 15 bridges ongoing in different localities and as priority projects for 2022, the tarring of the road from the council office to the Bamenda New Road, Mayor Fongu Kletus, mayor of Bamenda 3 Council during the session said the construction project is expected to last for 6 months and is the major priority project to aid the movement of persons and goods, with other projects carried out in the municipality.
We will be tarring the road from Bamenda 3 Council to link the new road, which in turn will decongest our municipality and give our people services. We will be rehabilitating the school in Tebong, both the primary school and secondary school. We're also constructing some classrooms at the government school at the palace. We have also envisaged maintenance of
the 2.5 kilometers of road that is going to be done, including the gutters, will cost the Bamenda 3 Council to the tune of about 400 million FCFA. Mayor Fongu Kletus also cited the ongoing construction of a water reservoir of about 120,000 liters capacity that will extend water supply to communities in need in the Bamenda 3 municipality. The coffining ceremony at the Bafoussam Regional Hospital mortuary of the 4 penitential officers who were slain by alleged separatist fighters in Bui division of the Northwest region last April 12, 2022 were officially removed from the Bafoussam Regional Hospital mortuary May 5th and handed over to family members for burial. The 4 who lost their lives, including the Northwest Regional Delegate of Penitentiary Administration, Kiga Theodore, Nang Lionel, service head of the General Affairs of the delegation, Afu Nelson Nche, principal warder, and Awunu Yannick, a major warder, fell into an ambush and were slain, returning from a handing over of command to the newly appointed superintendent of the Nkambe principal prisons on their return by alleged separatist fighters in honor of the 4 fallen penitential officers upon removal from the Bafoussam Regional Hospital mortuary in a ceremony in honor of the 4 fallen officers at the Bafoussam grandstand, with mourners and family members at both ends expressing their grief to pay homage to the slain officers, described the passing away of their loved ones a vacuum and surprise.
Fortunate that in the council of brothers there can be this kind of extended breath. These are young Cameroonians, and they have their future, their lives, their career ahead of them. A lot of things to accomplish. Their life have been cut short by something that I don't know how to define it any longer, because in the midst of it, we are losing almost everything. Even the things that maybe possibly have happened. At the end of the day, I just pray and say that God grant wisdom to our leaders, and also wisdom to every other Cameroonian that is involved in this thing, to be able to see how they can resolve these issues.
The presiding officers, West Governor Awa Fonka Augustin and Northwest Governor Aldov Lele Lafrique, paid homage and offered condolence to the bereaved families. To the director of the National School of Penitentiary Administration in Sab Boya,
that the young man has through this manner achieved in a very bad manner. I trained in Enap. It is only 3 years that we graduated.
Reading of their biography and consolating message read by Penitentiary Administrator Pierre-André Etundi extend the Minister of Justice and Keeper of the Seals condolence to the bereaved families.
African music is the best in the world nowadays because of its diversity coming from every side of Africa.